Hi, everybody. Welcome to the main viewer. Oh, Dr. Anne-Marie Siegel just joined us and then disappeared. we are here with Dr. Mohammed Noor, of course.
Hello, pleasure to be
Melissa,
here.
yes, Melissa Longo as well is here.
Hi.
My name is Ryan T. Husk. We have so much to talk about. Sorry for cutting you off there, Mohammed.
Totally fine.
We're going to talk about all of the biggest surprises from the 2022 LLAPy Awards. There were a lot of surprises. We were surprised by things. The viewers were surprised by things. Some of the recipients were surprised by things. We'll also talk about the news of the week. I think there's a special birthday boy to talk about. There's some casting news for Strange New Worlds. There was 5 full days, and by was, I mean were, 5 full days of virtual TrekCon 3 goodness. Let's talk about it, have some fun. Everybody at home, start thinking now what your biggest surprises were, like your biggest surprise wins. Like, what did you think for sure was going to win that didn't, and what actually did win that surprised you? Whew, that's a mouthful. How you guys doing?
It's exciting.
Okay. It's really warm here.
Yeah, it's 90 degrees right now in LA already. Spring has sprung. And by spring, I mean summer. We had 1 day of spring.
One.
Is it, how hot is it in Simi Valley, Melissa?
I don't know. But I'm like, where's my fan? It's right here.
Oh man.
I
68
think,
over here in Durham, North Carolina.
Ooh, very nice. I think, Melissa, your fan is in Montana. His name is War Dogheim.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah.
I think Melissa has a lot of fans.
Yeah, you're probably right. Whoa, look at, speaking of which, Star Trek #1 fan, Dr. Anne-Marie Siegel is here. Oh, she couldn't even hear us because she had her earbuds out. All right.
Yeah.
So let's get into it. What do you guys want to start with? The biggest surprises of
let's start with
Awards?
LLAPys. Yeah, totally. You know, LLAPys is still so much on our mind because it was like this big rush for the whole weekend. It was like, oh my God, this is so cool.
It is 84 degrees
Ooh.
right now.
Glenn Iverson
says 2 or 3 of
says,
yours to us.
Glenn Iverson says it's 77 here, but only 75 in the house.
Oh.
Nice.
Oh.
Well, Mohammed, since the LLAPys are so fresh in your mind, probably everybody's, did you have some big surprises you wanted to bring up?
Surprise-wise, I mean, there were a lot of them that I wasn't sure how they were going to turn. I wouldn't say there was anything where I was like, oh my God, there's no way that would win. There wasn't anything like that for me, but there was some where I just really didn't know what the answer was going to be. So one for me was the best supporting bridge officer on Discovery. I mean, I easily could have seen that going to, for example, Kayla Detmerks. I mean, Emily Coots is awesome. Her acting is great too. Easily could have seen that going. I mean, you know, actually, I was about to say who I voted for, but I'm not going to say who I voted for. I don't. But, you know, it easily could have been multiple of those folks, and seeing it, you know, end up for Oyen Oladijo was fantastic for her depiction of Joanna Wossicom. So that was great. But I didn't.
I was just going to say another one that I thought was in the running for that would have been Arium, because I remember in the first season, everybody was kind of obsessed with who is that robot, who is that cyborg, who is that droid, who is that whatever it is. But that was first season. This was the combination of first and second season, as seen through the lens of the fourth season. So there, I agree. There were a lot of people in the running there for sure.
The other one was favorite moment for the early. I'm focusing on Renaissance. That's first, and then we can come to the regular LLAPys later. But the biggest. What was the exact? Let me look up what the title was exactly. Favorite moment of 2017 to 2019 Star Trek. I mean, the choices there were. I mean, it easily could have fallen to most of them. Like the USS Crew meets Captain Pike easily could have been the winner for that. I would have totally believed that. The one that did win was, of course, the Enterprise being first revealed with that TOS style end music. That was great. The previously on Star Trek recap, which had the footage from the cage, easily could have seen that. Wins. I mean, there are all so many very, very serious contenders in there. I mean, I was surprised in the sense of just not knowing what the answer was going to be. Not that I thought that the one which won was unlikely to win. So,
yeah, I definitely had a few surprises. None that are jumping out at me right now. I'll have to like cheat and look, but there were definitely some. Like some things that I wasn't surprised by. I wasn't surprised by Deep Space Nine winning for best first episode. You know, and this is totally subjective, and I did not vote for any of these. I recused myself. I hope that's the right way of saying that. I recused myself from any and all polling so that I could just be an observer. Although I really wanted to vote for some as a big fan. But like that one, the Deep Space Nine pilot, I feel like it's the best, or certainly in the conversation of the top 2 or 3. Broken Bow, I think, is really good for Enterprise.
Yeah.
But I don't know if there are as many Enterprise fans as there are Deep Space Nine fans. So if those are the 2 best, I would think that the one with the most fans would win, which was Deep Space Nine. Speaking of Deep Space Nine, I also was not surprised that What We Left Behind won for best documentary, because that seemed to me like the best documentary I've seen maybe ever. You know,
it was amazingly good. I mean, all of them were really good, but that one was like, you know, boom, just amazingly good. I agree.
That's a fun one. That's a fun one. Did you guys have any that you were not surprised with to get this conversation
I just wanted to say about that one that there was a comment about Deep Space Nine winning, and I just wanted to point out that Jake and Nog didn't win, and also, which if it was biased by how much we love Deep Space Nine ourselves, that wasn't the case. And then also, I mean, I listened to all the podcasts going back to like 2011, 2012 when Trek FM started, and I always very much hear, like, on every show, there's always a sway towards Emissary. I think Emissary just is unanimously in the fandom very loved. And when it came out originally, it was like, there was such a fanfare, even like states like Alabama closed bars and played Emissary in their bars. So I think that, yeah, I know it gets talked about like on these other podcasts. I think Broken Bow is loved, but I think there's something about Emissary and how that was like at the peak of Star Trek, like movies starting to get in production and other TNG still being on. I personally don't feel like it was biased at all.
You know, a couple quick things to jump on that. Number one is when I'm showing somebody a first episode of Next Generation, I show them Cause and Effect. I think, you know, I've mentioned before that I think that's the best way to get somebody in, because it's easy to understand. You don't need to know anything about the universe. You know, you get it very quickly. Whereas first episode of Deep Space Nine, I show them the pilot. I'm like, this stands on its own. I don't want to show Encounter at Farpoint to get somebody into Next Generation, for example.
Somehow it worked for us.
Yeah. Now, on the other hand, the other side of that, just to add to the you know, trying to not be biased, that was kind of one of our big concerns, is we wanted to make sure, hey, we don't want this just to go to Deep Space Nine fans, to Jake and Nog fans, to Seventh Rule fans. So we went tirelessly to go to all different Facebook groups, Voyager groups, Enterprise groups, you know, general Star Trek groups, hit them all up and did our very best. You know,
which
I'm sure it's always going to be imperfect.
Bigger than the Seventh Rule group.
All right, watch
another
your
good
mouth.
caveat.
What
caveat.
Easy?
Well, no, it's
No.
well, because it'll be like all of Discovery, and it'll
kidding.
be like a
But-
major group that you haven't grown.
But I think, you know, that Jake and Nog and that friendship one was kind of a barometer for me personally. Whereas if Jake and Nog won, I think, is there a little bit of bias? But since Kirk and Spock won, I felt like that validated that we reached everybody, you know, and just did our best to, you know, average things out. And what were you saying, Melissa?
Well, you kind of covered it all.
Good night, everybody.
And credits.
No, but I agree. Broken Bow is a fantastic first episode, and I think it doesn't get nearly as much credit as it deserves. There's a lot of sway against Enterprise that I think is undeserved because of word of mouth and how many people say, oh, Enterprise is so terrible. And I went into it with that mindset, watching it for the first time. Enterprise is so terrible. But the first episode, I was so impressed by it, by the world building and how it felt like the beginning of the Federation. Like with Emissary, it immediately drew you into the universe of Deep Space Nine. It had the stakes so high from the get-go, not just from, coming to a broken station, but for Captain Sisko or Commander Sisko, and introducing us to him in this time of life where he is broken. He's a single parent, he is broken. And I remember watching the Emissary with Aaron, and he's like, I can't believe people didn't think this was Star Trek going back in the day, because it is so Star Trek. He's teaching the wormhole aliens about being corporeal and vice versa. It's a trek into finding new cultures and new civilizations and boldly going to, nobody had been to the wormhole before. So, it was very Star Trek, and they did it so beautifully. I think the Emissary should have won, and that's not just bias because I love Deep Space Nine so much, but yeah.
Well, I want to add one more thing to Broken Bow Enterprise. Falling Towers, watch the first podcast, reviewed it. It's episode number 14. Sorry, wait, let me look at that a little bit more. Nope. Episode number 17. I'm still learning my numbers. I'll get there.
Roman numerals.
And with the panelists, 4 people, we had, I'm still trying to figure out if that's Roman numeral. No, that's not.
I'm teasing you.
But we averaged an 8.25 in the ratings. And at least one of us had never seen it before. And that one person kind of brought up the rear, and everybody thinks differently, but still 8.25 averaged out from some pretty tough critics. So check that out.
So I love Enterprise Death. The one criticism I'll say, which I think is totally valid for well, I mean, obviously anybody can have all sorts of criticism. The one criticism of Enterprise that is objectively true is that if you do, say, a Bechdel test on Enterprise as compared to Voyager or compared to Deep Space Nine, it doesn't do as well. That, so in terms of representation in that regard, it didn't do as well. But
kind of
in terms of
then.
Yeah. So, and that's fair. That's a fair criticism of it. Doesn't mean the performances aren't outstanding. Doesn't mean the plots aren't outstanding. Doesn't mean the themes aren't outstanding. But there was one step back there that didn't necessarily have to happen. So that's fair. But to your original question, pardon me?
And the sets were outstanding too. I was impressed by how I felt like I was in a submarine in space. It was wonderful.
Real quick, and I'm sorry, Mohammed, I just want to throw in that I remember way back in the day, before Enterprise ever came out, back in the days of magazines, where you'd have to find a magazine at a store and be like, oh my God, this magazine is talking about the new Star Trek show that's coming out. I can't wait to read it. And I read about this new show that was coming out. And one of the things they said was that they wanted to design it so that it had the feel of a submarine. They said they wanted it to feel a little cramped, a little bit new, like not this beautiful, spacious, super technology kind of thing, but just more like a cramped submarine where they're still, ironing things out and putting grease on the brackets or whatever. So anyway, I just want to make sure that's
awesome.
That they get validation from you that hadn't read that, saying that's how it felt. Anyway, sorry, what were you saying, Mohammed?
Well, I was going to say, back to your original question about things in the LLAPy Awards that weren't a surprise. We kind of left that one by. the Cleveland Booker being the winner for best new character.
No
discovery.
surprise, right?
Yeah, there was no
No.
surprise. I can't. I mean, I don't remember what the numbers were, but I can't imagine it was even.
I was actually
like, super
surprised it
close.
wasn't Grudge because that was the one where when we did preliminary polls, at first we weren't letting in cats.
Yeah.
And then every time we would take
Then
it
we got
out,
a cat door.
the cat would pop back in.
Yeah.
Like the cat, every time the cat would pop back in, it would go to the top. It was
That's
so
hilarious.
crazy.
Right. Well, and I was really on the fence about that because I was like, well, Grudge should be in a pets poll, not in a characters poll. Now, obviously, the other side to that is you could say, well, Grudge is a pet and a character. But I mean, would we? And then I kind of started thinking, well, have I in the past said Spot or Porthos with regards to a question about a character? And I think I have. So that's why I was like, okay, well, then I need to check myself and say, cool, Grudge is a character because I've done it my damn self. So you guys win.
The best
love the
part
logic.
about it was that Melissa did the pictures for like the cards to say like who's voted in the categories. And the Grudge glamour shot on that like post was so funny to me that that's when I was
Little
convinced like Grudge
things.
belongs in this category.
Grudge is so cute with that face. And just
Grudge is
wanna-
beautiful.
So funny.
so cute.
Okay, can I say something about Grudge now that this is all over?
Oh my
I am
gosh,
like
yeah,
the
it's Grudge
biggest
talk.
cat person. I love cats. When I'm driving down the street, if I see a cat, I literally stop my car and call to the cat. And if the cat doesn't run away, I've made a new friend. And I go and I will stop everything and go talk to kitties and make friends. Okay. I'm not obsessed with
That's
Grudge.
not weird at all.
I know.
Grudge.
I know.
Grudge. Hey, give me Spot. Give me
So if
Spot.
Spot and Grudge were on the street, you'd go pet Spot.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'd pet them both. Who am
I'd
I
go get
kidding?
Spot's autograph. Yeah.
But I
Yeah,
feel like
Spot's
Spot just
Spot
has
brand.
that certain je ne sais quoi, you know.
yeah.
Whereas I don't know. I would take Spot. I'm a spotter.
I go for Porthos and Heartbeat.
I'm a Spot
Right.
83.
I'm equal opportunity animals, so I want them all. They're all cute to me.
Even the SETI eels.
That's what I was about to say.
Yeah, good
I was
job,
just about to
Mohammed.
say that.
The SETI eels.
The thing that
Wait,
went
what?
in Chekhov's ear.
Oh no.
Oh, suddenly Melissa doesn't like all
No.
animals. Snow
Like
White is
invertebrates.
pushing off the bluebird. Was it Snow White that talked to animals?
Well-
I thought it's either her
Well,
or
maybe
Cinderella.
Snow White will welcome the brewer to eat the SETI eel, so it doesn't go in the ear. Ew.
Thinking
Anyway.
hard on that one.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, Mohammed, can you save us?
It's fair. It can
What's-
happen.
No, I mean go back to what we
Why
were
do you
doing.
need to be saved?
You're like, no, I'm good. Let's keep talking about this.
Yeah. Hey, we're talking about animals, biology. I'm in.
Why do we need to be saved?
Oh, I mean, I can talk about more non-surprises. Like the VFX for Discovery was another one I wasn't especially.
Okay.
I mean, all of it was great, but I was like the VFX are just so over the top. Like
I expected that too. Yeah.
So good.
Point.
So
Yeah.
Bree is in the live chat. Synchro, what is it?
Yum.
Let's see. What is her thing?
I
Synchro
like
skate.
Brie cheese
And
too.
she's like, she has 2 cats, and I'm pretty sure the cats have their own email addresses, and I'm pretty sure they voted in the LLAPys also.
my God.
My guess is they voted for Grudge. And I'm getting multiple messages from Bree on text that are all like, Grudge, we're pro Grudge.
Okay.
So
Everybody
I guess
in the
now we know
live
Grudge's
chat.
fan base.
Everybody in the live chat right now, just one word answer. Who's your favorite cat out of the 2? Grudge or Spot?
Oh,
Don't let me
Chester.
down.
I don't
Chester.
like this question. Chester, yes. You missed Chester.
Chester's like the underdog of
miss him.
cats.
No chance. No
Why?
chance.
I mean,
You
I'm
don't
a
like
Spot
fluffy
girl.
cats?
I think
There's
most
just
people
no
couldn't even come up with
chance.
a visual image of what Chester looked like.
Yeah, no
Yeah,
chance.
that's because he's not in it for the fame.
Chester is
There you go.
trivia. Chester is trivia, not a favorite.
Oh,
All right.
but
Chester
it was
got trivia.
cute.
Oh, we're getting Grudge
yeah.
and Spot.
Cute
There's,
as
there's a
hell.
mix coming in. Scott Jensen's with Grudge, Linda Andereggs with Spot, Glenn Iverson's with Grudge.
I'm seeing a little bit
Louise is
more
with
Spot.
Chester.
I think Spot's
Oh,
winning.
spots are coming in late here.
No,
Oh,
Chuck
Mochi
has
got one.
got the
Mhm.
answer.
Mochi got it. Yeah.
Yep. You can't change your spots, guys.
War Dog comes with Porthos.
But that's not the question. I'd have to rethink if Porthos was added.
It'd have to be
in this.
Porthos versus the dog.
Yeah, but thanks, Chuck, for
Yeah.
Mochi.
And Robert Kaiser says Neelix.
Oh no, that's because that's Barkley's cat, and Barkley goes Neelix.
Oh, damn it, you're right.
It's really cute, but he can't have chocolate ice cream.
Yeah, Spot's getting big wins now, I think.
Yeah, actually,
Yeah.
I might vote for Neelix. No Spot.
Okay.
Also, one of Bree's cats is named Seven because it has like fur that looks like a Borg cortical implant. And on Twitter, the cat's handle is 7 of 9 lives, which cracks me up.
Cute.
That's a
That's
good
awesome.
one. One of my favorite follows.
Sorry, each one of these Spot votes just makes my heart swell.
Mine too.
Aw.
Just kidding. I don't have one.
I'll toss
were
one
there-
more. I'll toss one more
I
non-surprise
was gonna
one.
Yeah.
say.
Yeah, which was the favorite episode overall for new Star Trek. I totally predicted Nepenthe from Picard
Oh,
would
yeah.
win that.
Really?
Mm,
Yeah.
See, I didn't know. I didn't know where to go with that one.
I kind of.
It's not the one I voted for, but it's the one I predicted would win. Oh, sorry.
I did vote for that one.
Okay.
Did I? Maybe not. I can't remember.
Oh my gosh, Bree just sent me a picture. I wish I could share the screen. It's of her cat Bradley, like staring coldly at our screen. Not amused by this conversation.
Does Bradley vote for Spot too?
Oh my god, I think they're a grudge family.
I guess the other
But that-
going back to surprise is not from the categories, but just how great an event that was. I mean, I knew it was going to be fun, the
Oh
LLAPy
my
award thing,
gosh.
but holy moly.
Yeah. The whole night kind of blew my mind. It was yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, this, like the highs, the sad moments is just, or I mean, not sad, but it's just, the ones that it's just emotional. The highs,
Emotional,
the emotional
yeah.
moments, the funny moments. There's just so much there. Everybody came in and just was great. Like,
Oh.
Mary with her speech about Ken's response speech, JG
Wow,
just
yeah.
acting up.
Oh
there's
my
so much.
gosh. So
Oh,
cute.
that was. I'd like to file that in the category of not a surprise. Was JG acting funny? we knew what to expect when Klingons are around.
But Silent Bob was a surprise.
JG and Silent Bob. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Another thing I was not surprised by, actually, another Deep Space Nine win was the Cisco's being the favorite
Mhm.
family. Because I feel like, to me, they feel like
Wasn't surprising to me.
kind of the iconic family of Star Trek, like the one where people point to that's like the most wholesome family, or the one that really upholds the family values. I thought that one was going to win, and I wasn't terribly surprised.
It also felt the most relatable, in my opinion. It felt like a family that you would see out in the world, and it had that connection that a lot of families have with each other, and it doesn't look like the stereotypical image that has been shoved down our throats for centuries, or at least decades. But it felt like the one that you could relate to the most, and the amount of love and care that Avery and Sirach share for each other is just so evident on the screen. I mean, you can't fake that
Loved
chemistry
it.
either.
Yeah.
So that didn't surprise me at all.
Another
Quirk
one that
family-
didn't.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead,
I was
please.
saying the Quirk family suffered from two things. Number one, the humor aspect makes it harder because it's just like, oh, but they're kind of funny, blah, blah, blah. And the alien aspect. I mean, the fact that they're aliens right there, that I think that hurt them in terms of their running. The Spock Sarek family be like, God, like they didn't speak to each other for 20 years. Like, we're gonna vote that as best family.
Right.
Like that's a tough sell.
Well, being aliens did not hurt the fling category because it was just chock full of aliens.
I was surprised though about that
Yeah,
one.
I'll tell you one that did not surprise me while we're on that subject is Michael Eddington for Biggest Betrayal. Now, I wouldn't have been shocked if he didn't win, but that was the one I expected to win, right?
You think it was gonna be Gul Dukat betraying the Federation?
That's who I voted for.
Gross.
But
That is
people
not
love
who I voted
Seska.
for. I voted for Eddington because Eddington. Yes.
Yeah, I definitely wasn't.
I also agree
I wasn't
that
surprised.
going back to families, I really love the Tom Paris Bolana family. I think they made each other both so much better.
Yeah.
And it's really special. I'm like, is his name Tom or Robbie? Tom coming like kind of making up with his dad a little bit in the show, and it's so beautiful when they have Maral. So I mean, I wasn't surprised they didn't win, but it seemed like nobody was talking about them at all in the live chat, and I really liked them.
Mhm.
But yeah, I voted.
I had a
Frankie.
harder time connecting with Tom and Bolana as a family. So
I felt like it touched so well on like somebody who's mixed marrying somebody who isn't, and then like what that means for future generations, and then also kind of like parents estranged from their children, like getting back in contact was so beautiful in the context of Voyager. So, but yeah, I know. But I just love all the families.
Being a mixed baby myself, it still didn't sway me to care more. Not that I didn't care, but it wasn't as strong for me as Jake and Benjamin. And Joseph. Talk about gosh.
Yeah.
Love Joseph.
Yeah.
I think one more thing that was not a surprise to most people was the favorite reintroduced Star Trek original series character. I feel like most people not only, not necessarily most people voted for this one side, but certainly the most voted for Pike. And I think most people, if you ask them which one they thought was going to win, they would say Pike, because there was so much outcry about we want more Pike that it kind of makes his own
show.
Yeah, it kind of makes it clear, and we'll talk more about that a little later because there's a lot of Pike and Strange New Worlds news since
it
the
could have
show
been
is
Spock, but that was less likely because there've already been multiple Spocks and things like that, and people are so attached to Leonard Nimoy. It was a tough fall.
Yeah, this is true. Although I think Ethan is doing a great job as and it's not just because I like his voice.
I was about to say, and he has the best Spock voice too.
It's not just because I like his voice.
Oh, he's great. Yeah.
And Maria, did you have any categories that did not surprise you at all, that you knew you're like, this one's gonna win? It's so obvious.
I mean, the Pike one was so obvious that was gonna win. I mean, there was a petition to give him a spin-off, so of course that one was gonna win. Let me think. I mean, honestly, there were so many where the really interesting thing of looking at everybody's picks on the worksheets that Mohammed so like prettily made. Whenever I went through every single person's picks after the Renaissance Awards and then after the LLAPys, the crazy thing was how nobody did that well, including me if I had filled one out. So I thought that was one of the fun thing about the award shows. It was like really anybody's game, and you never knew who'd win. So I loved it.
I mean,
I love that aspect too.
I admin a ton of Star Trek Facebook groups, so I feel like I've got my fingers on the pulse of Star Trek fandom, and I know which way they're going to go and which way they're not going to go. And even I was like, I probably, if I had made predictions ahead of time, I probably would have only gotten 25% right, maybe 30%. So it's not surprising that, because we had 6 or 8 or 9 nominees for each category. It's tough, it's tough. It's not surprising. I'd be surprised if anybody predicted 50%.
I would be surprised too.
That'd be pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good. But speaking of that petition, I definitely do want to talk a bit more later about Strange New Worlds and Pike and the news there. And if we have time, I think it'd be really fun for us to guess or surmise if there were to be another spinoff born of a fan movement, what would that be? So I think that'd be a fun thing to talk about a little later. I know. And then we can't talk about it right now with what a waste. Let's instead,
because it gives us time to marinate.
like delicious artichoke hearts.
Yum.
Were there any major surprises, like ones that you thought were going to win that ended up not winning, or the ones that did win and you're like, wow, I never would have? I mean, personally, I was surprised that the scene between Rafi and the Rios holograms won, because when you think comedy, you think Lower Decks. And so I just automatically assumed it's going to come from a Lower Decks episode, whatever it is, you just assume it, just like if you think what's the most wholesome moment, you're going to assume it might come from Prodigy or something like that, But do you guys have any big surprises?
I think I was surprised by Rios and Rafi's interaction winning. Not that I didn't thoroughly enjoy it, because I thought it was a brilliant scene. It's so funny, but that is not what got my vote. I don't remember what it was. It was probably the Borg babies or something, or maybe the liking to watch.
I didn't even get that one.
The liking to watch? The Mugatu? But anyway.
I'm just kidding. Anne Marie is just not even here right now. She's just looking at the live
reading
chat.
the live chat. Sorry.
Yeah. So
how about for a most exciting moment? Did you know that one? The one about Seven taking charge of the artifact Borg cube?
I did not have a prediction on that one.
Oh, that was.
I went into that one with a clean
hard.
slate.
It was really
I
hard.
I couldn't tell at all.
Yeah, no, I had no idea going to that one either.
One last thing about Rafi and Rios. It seems maybe when people were choosing that one, they weren't just going for laugh out loud; they were going for cleverness.
Yeah.
What's an interesting, clever, funny way, something new, and and
Very
I think
true.
that wins out with the smart fans of Star Trek. Although, can we just go ahead and say that Lower Decks is the funniest series, not just of Star Trek, but of any show ever, practically, except for Three's Company?
Actually, I don't know, because I really treasure humor in all Star Trek. And so sometimes when other series do humor, to me, it can be actually funnier than Lower Decks. I mean, Lower Decks, I would
quality over quantity, you're saying.
I would say, no, quality. Lower Decks has quality also, but I just value all of it. I would say that Lower Decks, like, obviously it's 100% trying to have humor and it's a high yield. So I wouldn't say it's the funniest one. I would say it is. I'd say it's funny.
I think it's
But they're
the
all
most consistently funny.
Number of
and
laughs per
it
minute.
Consistently, it has laughs in every episode, which are cleverly done laughs too. And maybe with Picard, it was a surprise to get to such a light moment with Rios and Rafi that was a surprise. Tickled the funny bone too after being dark.
Another interesting angle to this is that sometimes having so many great friendships on Deep Space Nine led to many of the nominees being from Deep Space Nine. So those kind of might cannibalize each other. Similarly,
Exactly.
So many of the nominees being voted on by the fans. So if the fans nominate most of the things being from Lower Decks, then basically if Picard's your favorite show or Discovery's your favorite show, you're just going to go with that one. Or if you haven't seen Lower Decks,
Yeah,
if you
exactly.
haven't seen Prodigy. So a lot of that, also comes into play. That's why, to me, the most important thing was noticing who the nominees were. That to me was kind of more important in a lot of ways, because you got to see the full spectrum of representation of what the fans like. Just because somebody won something, they could have won something with 25% of the vote. If there are 8 nominees or 9 nominees, they could have won with 19% of the vote, possibly. I don't think any did, but theoretically.
And we didn't sway the nominees either.
Right.
They were voted in by the fans in every single fan group. And the top ones got in, not any.
Whereas that's why I feel like the nominees were a little bit more indicative of where fandom sits, and what was really impressive to me was how varied the nominees were. We had nominees from short treks multiple times. Multiple times we had 3 or all 4 of the new series that were being represented in the nominations. And I thought that was really, personally, that made me very happy. When that happened, when I saw that, I was already like, okay, mission accomplished. Everything else is icing on the cake. That's where I felt like we had accomplished our mission of reaching multiple fandoms.
So related to that, you make a good point in the sense of the nominations being really important, that essentially anyone that was nominated was really good. And it got a lot of votes, especially from the preliminary polls, in order to get the nomination. So all of them, like basically everything on that final poll was a winner at some level.
And some of these prelim categories had like 60 plus options. And so these top 8 or less, were the top of the top, and it's not, and everyone was represented in all categories. Everyone.
I
think one that was kind of surprising was the best episode of Lower Decks, because I think what happened, all of the episodes were funny, but I think what happened is that if you don't watch Lower Decks, or if you don't know episode titles, when you get to that question, like, We'll Always Have Tom Paris was such a hilarious riff on We'll Always Have Paris from Casablanca. Like, I would bet like $10 that my dad, who hasn't watched Lower Decks yet, voted for that one.
Would vote for that one because of how funny it is.
The title is. Yeah.
I feel like I'm fading in and out here.
Yeah, you're trying to transport away.
Just like in life, I'm kind of fading in and out right now.
Oh my gosh, you're like Jordy and Roe.
Garrett's trying to transport you.
So everybody in the live chat, let us know. Oh, my hair's disappearing.
And your eyeball colors are disappearing too.
I'm Borging.
Oh my God, are you a watcher?
Oh my gosh.
That's it. Everybody's been asking who the watcher is. It's Ryan T. Husk.
Well, I've already outed myself as the Three's Company watcher, although I haven't seen it in decades, but whatever. So everybody at home, let us know, what was your biggest surprise win, or the biggest surprise non-win? What did you think for sure was going to win that didn't, or what won and you were like, really, you were kind of surprised by that? Because there were some that were very surprising to people. Obviously you pick your favorite, but you don't always assume that it's going to be the best. It's kind of a unpopular, opinion or whatever.
Some answers already coming in there.
Yeah, Robert Kaiser says he thinks the Tom Paris storyline was the least funny one.
Yeah, Glenn Iverson said that he was surprised that I Excretus didn't win the funniest episode.
Yeah, I'll be honest. Actually, that was a little bit of a surprise to me. I thought Magoto,
I thought that one
might have won. I thought that one had a chance of winning, and that was a little bit of a surprise to me, because I guess my humor is different than others. But I was like, ooh, I think this is gonna win. This one might win. And I thought it was very clever that they literally pronounced Magato differently every single time in the script, which was just brilliant.
So funny. So funny.
All right, so let me see if there were any other surprises for me personally. The favorite legacy fling was a little bit of a surprise to me.
Yeah,
I was not surprised.
And Grilka won that one, but this also might be a case of Next Generation having half or more than half of the nominees. Let me see. There were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of 8.
The interesting thing about that one too is
so
that
could be them cannibalizing each other.
Yeah, but on the preliminary, I think like Data and Tasha Yar won like hands down. So I was impressed that
I was expecting that one to win.
I thought it wasn't them. I thought Quark and Grilka won.
Quark and Grilka won.
They did win, yeah,
in the finals here, but in the nominations.
But they did really well in the prelims.
Mm-hmm.
If I remember correctly.
Yeah, and that's why, you know, the preliminary polls can come out very differently than the finals, because we're asking people to pick their 3 favorites. Mm-hmm. So, you know, otherwise, when people are just picking one, then something that might be everybody's second favorite would have never even gotten nominated, which would be a crime. And that's why you say, hey, okay, give us your top 3. And then it could really average out. We really get a good representation of what are people's favorites. However, since there have been so many memes and so many jokes and so many things made out of Yar and Data, I was like, oh, this is going to be a hands down win for them because it's the most famous one. It's the most talked about and memed one, but I was surprised too.
Well, I was hoping it was Quark and Grilka because I was the one who added it to the poll.
Nice. Good ad. People liked it.
You stole that win from Yar and Data.
Oh, darn.
But clearly it's good that you did, because apparently the fans agreed with you.
Yeah, it's a good fling. And fling does not mean relationship. Right. Stop. It's not funny.
All right, so let's see what everybody in the live chat says. Kimber Spore says that would be my biggest surprise too. JR Poole says, I was most surprised by the guests. I emoted a lot by the guests. When the guests came on, I think that's what it was. Chuck A says, Mugato, Gamoto.
Yeah. Because one time McCoy, like, I can't remember if it's on the show or just in practice, he then said like Gamato or something that didn't even make sense.
Apparently that's been said a few times in the original series where they actually called it Gamato, and they never said, nah, cut, you know, try it again, or, you know, how did they just say it was okay? Anne-Marie in the live chat, who's given us their biggest surprises?
Just like a lot of conversation about who people voted for, but I'm not seeing many biggest surprises that we haven't talked about already.
Yeah, Lisa, one Trek fan, said I thought Data and Tasha would win for sure. So agreeing with us on that one.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's not who I would pick, but I'm a Picard Vosh girl all the way.
Yeah, that was kind of a surprise too. Picard and Vosh, did very well in the preliminary polls as well. You know, I was always had a little side eye, a little place in my heart for Riker and Ro, but that did not win. I didn't necessarily expect it to win. Didn't expect it to win, but I thought that was a good one. Okay. Any final thoughts on that before we move on?
Talk Strange New Worlds.
All right. Okay. So everybody knows last week's big news from a few days back was that there will be Captain Kirk in Strange New Worlds. Mm-hmm. Now, my first thought when I saw this was, because I think the picture of him on set leaked, and I feel like that forced their hand. I don't know if that's the case.
We talked about this. Yes. So Toronto filming, there's like this Twitter account. So a lot of cities will have Twitter accounts if they have things filming, like New York. ONV does it for like different cities around the country. Toronto has their own because they're filming so much now. So people will walk around the city and then tweet Toronto filming or whatever it's called. and then they'll retweet it. So somebody who wasn't even a Trekkie just happened to see Star Trek filming in the streets and tweeted it. And then there was a guy who clearly was wearing like the yellow tunic and apparently like the insignia like insinuated he, I guess, is captain. So then that went kind of viral over the course of the day, and then that did like force Paramount's hand, I guess.
Well, I mean, they could have denied it.
Yeah,
I mean,
or they could have
it could have just been some dude. Now,
yeah, exactly.
So my first thought was, is Paramount saying, "Yep, it's Kirk, you got us," to throw us off the scent as a red herring when it's really like Matt Decker or something, because they don't want to give away the real true surprise reveal. And they're like, we'll just tell them it's Kirk, and they'll go nuts, and then they'll expect that. And then kind of like what they did, didn't they do that? When the JJ movie, the second one with Khan,
with no Khan,
right? And they kept trying to say, oh no, it's not Khan. And I think they said it was Gary Mitchell or whatever.
Oh my God.
And nobody was full. And we're like, no, it's gonna be Khan. We know it's gonna be Khan. But then of course it was revealed that it was
so hilarious.
Khan.
Love
like
that, Gary Mitchell.
For like months on Trek FM on Ready Room, when you go back and listen to that era of their podcast news, it's so funny because every week it'll be like, Paramount's still telling us it isn't Khan, but we all know it's Khan. It's really fun. But I don't know, like this time it wasn't like Ricardo Montalban like came back and then got on Twitter and said, I'm passing you the baton. Not like this time William Shatner is actually tweeting at the guy saying he's passing the baton for Kirk.
Well, and we also have pictures of him in the uniform. So, I mean, would they go so far as just to Photoshop the guy's head on a uniform?
No,
that could be like any captain.
Yeah, what I'm saying is that that this character in a captain's uniform could have just been Captain Decker. It could have been a different captain that they were saying was Kirk. However, as it turns out, my suspicions seem to be incorrect because, as Anne-Marie was just saying, there are now pictures of Shatner and this new fellow. Let me pull that up. Paul Wesley is his name.
Oh yeah. At first I thought they were saying, I read the headline incorrectly when like Trek Movie announced it in an article, and I thought they were saying Wesley was going to be in Strange New World. I was like, oh my God. I was way more excited than this news. I was like, oh my gosh, he's back with the Traveler and they time travel. This is amazing. So kind of
that's true. With Traveler, you could move time.
Yeah, so now I'm like actually less excited than I was about that news.
Especially we don't know the context. It might be that, they like briefly go to the future and run into like Kirk in the future for part of one episode or something like that. We don't know.
He's just not doing it for me.
I love, actually, I don't know if you guys listened to the latest episode of Daily Star Trek News, shout out to Allison Pitt there, but they were itemizing because people have said online that there have been 3 Kirks, and she pointed out there have actually been 6 Kirks. There's like William Shatner, there's Chris Pine, and there's this guy, but there's also the person who played Janice Lester in the original series, who switched bodies with Kirk, so she was briefly Kirk.
Yes, I loved that comment. They were like, and then there are all these memes where it's her being like, what about me? I don't count. Like
there are also 2 childhood. There's
exactly
baby,
there's the baby,
and there's
the kid, and then the kid, and for the 2009 movie. So there's actually been 6.
Funny. I know.
I'm trying to think if there are more, but those were the only 2 I could think of that you hadn't mentioned yet. So we get this one from treknews.net.
Yeah,
good to check them out every once in a while.
Yeah.
And Paul Wesley is the guy's name. I think he's in some vampire thing before now, so a lot of people know him. I don't remember, what's the show called?
Vampire Diaries.
Okay, Vampire Diaries. Okay, there it is.
CW.
Oh, no wonder I'd never heard of it.
Yeah, exactly. CW. Let me just turn that off.
Yeah. So obviously everybody knows James T. Kirk, played by Paul Wesley.
Oh wait, sorry. I also meant to say CW. Call me when you put Babylon 5 on.
Yeah. And then I was still suspicious, but then we get this picture. We're like, okay, all right, you win. It's I can't imagine that 91-year-old Captain Kirk William Shatner is going to be like, sure. Actually, maybe he would do that just to troll everybody. I don't know.
Today of all days,
his birthday.
Mm-hmm.
You should sing Henry for your future husband.
I know.
Is Anne Marie, is William Shatner's Captain Kirk your biggest Star Trek crush ever?
Of all time. He's my first crush in life. Oh my God, he just looks amazing at every age. There's just something about him that's so magnetic. Love him. He's like Paul Newman, but even hotter.
No.
Oh, the salad dressing guy.
No.
Something about their eyes. And
No. Paul Newman, hands down.
That's my other big crush.
Oh,
Yeah.
Paul Newman.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Gosh.
I gotta look this guy up.
You don't know who Paul Newman is?
Yeah, he was the guy down the hall in Jerry's apartment, right?
Newman.
I do not have a crush on Newman.
He wasn't down the hall. He was the mailman.
Not Newman.
Yeah, he was the mailman.
That's what he did in Jurassic Park, right?
No.
He was in like Exodus, Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, like a million Philadelphia Story, and then
Sundance and Butch Cassidy and Sundance.
Yes.
Who is Butch Cassidy Yates? Who is your biggest Star Trek crush ever, Melissa? Besides Nog, you can't say Nog.
That's your good call.
Well, I don't think I ever had a crush on any of the Trek characters. Yeah. Mm-mm.
Not even Riker, William T.
Oh, no. He reminded me too much. He reminded me too much of my dad. It looks wise. And I'm just like, that's gross.
Not the way he sits down.
Troy's guy. Yeah.
That's gross. Not that my dad isn't good looking, because he is a good looking man. That's just gross.
Yeah. It's just disturbing.
Muhammad, we're going to call on you to save us again.
Yeah. Oh, favorite crush? I don't know. That's a tough one. I don't.
Maybe
nobody...
the intendant.
No, not for me.
Maybe.
Oh, for her.
For me.
Oh, maybe for you.
For me.
It is for Sirach, I think. Not to speak for him, but so far that's what it seems like.
That's a given.
Everybody in the live chat, give us your one-word answer. Who is your biggest Star Trek crush of all? Now, unless it's like Uhura, then you got to say TOS Uhura, because there's also Zoe Saldana's Uhura.
Right.
And soon to be a third one in Strange New Worlds.
Oh, yeah.
I can't.
I guess I go Beverly. I guess I don't know, but
Beverly.
That's kind of out of a hat, though. I mean, she was very lovely.
Yeah, she's.
We call her crush though by far. No.
If Bashir was older, like the age Sid is now, then Bashir, but because he was just too young in Deep Space Nine.
More ways than one in the beginning.
Yeah.
No, you're right. We already got all three of us now.
Yeah, I don't know.
Laris has like completely swept the crush world in the past like couple weeks since Picard started. I know Scott Jensen's really championed that movement, but it's all over my Twitter feed. Everybody falling in love with Laris.
I think I know the answer for you, Ryan, but you might not be wanting to say it because it's somebody in a current series. So you don't want the person to be watching.
Might be Spock.
Somebody in a current series.
In Discovery.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. See?
Oh, Nan?
Yeah.
Oh, Nan? No. No. I didn't mean to answer that quickly. I should be like, Nan, she's way up there, but no. No. Just interested in her character.
Yeah, I felt like you were saying
I respect her.
You were too negative about Narissa. I was like, ooh, that means Ryan has a crush.
No, Narissa was cool.
Yeah.
Maybe I shouldn't look at current, because there are one or two in the current series, but then
Yeah, that's awkward.
Yeah. How about
you told me it was Chase. You told me it was Lita.
Oh, I think I said that on Seventh Rule before. Yeah.
Oh. Cool.
Well, that was
mention that.
Yeah, back in the day, I think Lita. Oh, there's the kitty. Hey. Lita was probably the number one. She was really cute, really spunky, really sweet. She had that kind of like that it thing, she's really fun to watch. And she seems so, chipper and interesting, I think she was the one. At least top 10. So in the live chat, the answers are coming fast and furious.
Scott Jensen's with Marissa.
And also Quark. I love Quark.
We've got Kira, Laris. Scott Jensen answered two, Laris and Kira. Chuck A says Sirach and the Intendant. I wonder if he means those are his two biggest crushes, or he thinks those are they're together. A Rose Grows says Data. One Trek fan says Kirk. Anne Marie says Smiley Face.
Yeah.
Len Iverson says Laris.
There's multiple Anson Mounts in there.
T'Pol, Rand, Leah Brahms, Uhura, Anson Mount, 7 of 9, TOS Uhura, TOS Kirk, Anson Mount, Portia, first or biggest, give us both. Kimber Spore says 7. Yeah. Anson Mount, Crusher.
Thing is, I never watched Star Trek with a crush in mind.
Exactly.
It was never that for me.
Okay, look at Galenda's answer.
Current series, I'm still divided.
No.
No, the starts with Love Book.
Oh my gosh, it's so funny. Love Book, adore Pike, want to adopt Elnor, would meet Rios behind the bleachers.
To smoke cigarettes, you mean?
You shall say?
Yes.
Maybe it'll
Smoke
start there.
After.
Yeah.
All right. I think I sidetracked us.
Okay.
What were we talking about? Oh, yeah, Kirk. Okay. So,
Kirk.
yes, Kirk, Strange New Worlds, and all that good stuff. So, Strange New Worlds now has maybe 8 or 9 main characters that we have been
Cast.
told about. Now, of course, it could be something like where they announced Harry Mudd and it turned out he was only in 2 episodes.
Yeah, I'm thinking that for Kirk too. Yeah.
Right. Although I remember when they introduced Harry Mudd, I hoped and expected that he would end up being a fixture on the ship, and he would be that outsider character. He would be that Quark. He would be that Guinan. He would be that Neelix, right? He'd be that character that's like not Starfleet, but he's like the cook, or in this case, he would be like, a prisoner. He'd be a criminal, right? And they catch him, but then eventually maybe they rehabilitate him and he becomes a bartender or whatever it is. I thought that's what they were going to do with him, because that's what they've done in previous Star Trek iterations, but they didn't do that. So maybe they'll do that with Kirk, just have him in for 1 or 2 episodes.
Also, they're filming season 2 right now, so I don't really even know if he's in season 1.
Right. No, that's what they said is he's not in season 1, I believe. Or they said he is in season 2, which just makes us assume he's not in season 1.
You have to be careful with their games.
I know, I got to be careful about just saying he's not in season 1.
Yeah.
We're assuming that because they said he's in season 2. So who knows?
I love how we everything they say, we analyze it like we're analyzing texts from boys.
Have you met Star Trek fans?
I know, exactly.
That's what we do.
I like how you
I'm in
defaulted
middle
to
school.
text from boys, not an ancient bit of the Bible or something.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Rosetta Stone.
Right.
The Dead Sea Scrolls.
Yeah.
So Star Trek Strange New Worlds, all the major characters confirmed to appear. Basically, we already knew all this stuff, but we're just adding
Oh my gosh,
a
Pike's
couple
in
others.
it?
Yeah, Pike is in it.
Breaking
Big quote.
news.
Talk about great
man.
casting as far as Christopher Pike goes.
Yeah,
I think that was absolutely
spot on.
Cute little,
Yeah.
extra little concave up to the point on Spock's ears. Cute.
Una Chin Riley, number 1.
Oh my gosh, is any relation to Riley from TOS?
Although I don't know why they would put in all of Una's last name. Look, we've got Una, we've got number 1, and we've got Chin Riley. And then you scroll down, Uhura. Why not say Nyota Uhura in the anyway? That was
Yeah,
just kind of that
This
was
is
like
fascinating.
it weirded me out. I was like, well, why do you have like a full description here?
Yeah.
And then here you have this thing. And then the first line is her name.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's interesting.
I was like, I don't know. I'm not OCD, but that made me like, I'm like, it
That made
confused
me go,
Yeah. Like CNC Music Factory.
yeah.
Okay. Can you guys tell me, is it Mbenga or Mbanga?
Mbenga, right?
Mbanga.
Isn't
That's
it?
what I always
Mbang-
thought, but I
or
keep hearing it.
Mbenga.
I
Benga?
answered that.
Or
Mbanga.
Mbenga. But I would think
I don't know.
But
I
who
have
said
to wait.
Mbenga?
I could be wrong.
We have to wait until the first episode
Yeah.
to see how they
I
pronounce it. Because I just assumed it was Mbenga, but what do I know? Then we've got Christine Chappell, which is great. There's also a great meme that includes Captain Picard and Beverly Crusher and the word chapel in it. Those of you that know the meme, I bet you Kimber Spores in the live chat knows the meme I'm talking about, but we are not going to take that any further. This
Chuck
is a family
says
show.
Mbanga.
We'll see.
But Travis Taylor
Travis
says
says
Mbenga.
Mbenga.
See?
Yeah.
Galinda says Mbenga.
Scott
So,
goes with that too.
that's-
Scott Jensen.
It's 3 different ways.
Apparently his first name is the Big.
Oh my god.
I know.
Oh my gosh. I love that.
Then we've also got, oh, this is a very exciting one. La'an Noonien Singh,
Cool.
or Lawton, probably La'an or Lawton.
I like her hair.
Yeah.
Ask her for it.
I don't want it. She can keep it.
Erica Ortegas.
Somebody totally new,
Cool.
I believe.
Yep, totally.
Cool.
And Hemmer, also new, and Enar, right?
Mhm.
That's
These are the
fun.
exciting
Is it
ones.
Einar or Einar?
I think
Mohammed,
I
what do you
usually
think?
say Einar, but I think it's pronounced Enar.
Oh, okay.
Mohammed,
But
what do
no,
you say?
no, I'm Muhammad. What do you think?
Yeah, I usually say A&R too, but I could be wrong. I'd have to go back to the Enterprise
Sounds
episode and
so
watch it to
close
see.
to
I don't remember.
anal.
I love when Bio
But
Chucky
I
channel
don't
talks
know.
about Einar. It's so interesting.
Yay, thank you.
So interesting.
Yes,
Aw,
love it.
thanks.
And then James T. Kirk, of course. What are they saying? There was a slim to nil chance James T. Kirk appeared in Strange New Worlds. It turns out he'll appear in season 2. Though that's about all we know about the character's appearance so far. I'm assuming he won't be captain at any point during that time, and some other role within Stargate.
Yeah, it
maybe
could
like
be a time.
lieutenant.
There's so much time travel in Trek, or see the future, or something like that. You know,
And then he could still be like a lieutenant or, commander or
Yeah.
some kind of thing.
because there's the continuity thing that in the menagerie, Kirk was asked if he'd met Pike. He said only when I was getting the Enterprise, or Enterprise was being turned over. But if it was a time travel thing, it wouldn't have happened yet. Maybe he might be seeing Kirk later. So it would still be.
Or maybe we're going somewhere different with Pike.
Yeah, an away mission.
It's true. It's true. Pike's not
Maybe
there.
we're going away from the Enterprise
Yeah.
or
Space
far as
station.
Strange New Worlds.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll be riding horses together on.
yeah, I want that. I
Where's
want
he
that.
from? Mojave?
Yeah,
Maybe they'll right
Mojave.
because they're both
Yeah,
horse
that's right.
riders.
Yeah.
So is Picard. I want to see the 3 of them riding horses in the
Me
Nexus.
too.
The Nexus.
Mm.
Yes.
I love the Anne Marie. I loved your comment at one point in time about. I think you was talking.
Yeah.
I think you were
I
talking about
stole it
the Lappies. You
from
said it feels
Mel
like being
C.
in the Nexus.
I
That was the
know.
best comment.
Oh my
Aw.
goodness. Speaking of good comments, Medallion says, don't hurt Hemmer. That's solid. That's the, remember 1989? Please don't hurt him, Hemmer. It's
Peak in Colorado.
it's a MC Hammer, now called Hammer. Okay. Yikes. I thought that was funnier than it was, I guess.
Sorry, I'm distracted.
I still don't get it.
Yeah, me either.
So you remember MC Hammer?
Yes.
Huh?
It was
Hammer
like
Time?
his first, yeah, it was like his first album, I believe, that's what was the title of it.
Oh, fun.
Oh, don't hurt Hammer?
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh, I
Hammer
didn't
don't
know.
hurt him. I think something like that. It was either Hammer don't hurt him
Oh,
or don't hurt him Hammer.
I
if
didn't
remember
know the
correctly.
I don't
title.
remember.
All I remember is too legit to quit. Hey, hey.
When Iverson
You don't
says,
remember
"Stop,
Don't Touch
hammer
This."
time."
Yeah.
I remember don't touch this. Oh yeah, don't touch this.
He said
And
hammer
then
time.
We got to pray. Pray.
Oh yes.
We
Oh my
pray.
gosh. Okay, I remember more.
You did the
Hammer
oh
than I
yeah
think.
at the perfect time there. That was great. I think that was the second album, but who knows? Anyway, DJ Kitty Cat says, "I like your humor, Ryan." DJ Kitty Cat, I like yours.
Oh my gosh, you suck up. Just kidding.
Where's your apple, DJ Kitty Cat?
Yeah.
Aw.
Send apple to care of Ryan T. Husk. P.O. Box. Okay. So it is William Shatner's birthday. He is 91. Man,
Pretty spry.
I'm not
He
even
still
gonna be
goes
that
like
spry when
every
I'm
convention
60.
ever too.
Ever.
Like, is there ever a convention that
Pretty
Shatner's not at?
spry. Yeah.
It's amazing.
Well, actually, to answer that question, Mohammed, check this out.
No?
Yeah, VTC.
He's going to be in Star Trek Las Vegas. Check it out. There he
Uh-huh.
is.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I love that picture.
And he's also set for
Signataro,
Missions Chicago.
Ron
He's set for all sorts of Wizard
Ron
World.
Perlman. Woohoo! So excited.
Yeah.
Yeah, the reason I brought that up real quick was just because I got an email from Creation.
Oh, you're
That-
gonna point out there was a funny thing in that email. Did you catch it? It was
No.
from Deep Space Nine. It's like so and so played woman. Deep Space Nine.
Oh, yeah.
I
I see
didn't
it.
read
I see
that
it.
part.
Oh, wait, here we go.
That was
Also,
hilarious.
how
So,
cool is
here it
Kate
is.
Mulgre's
Here's
yellow
the
jacket?
email. They're like, oh, Annie Wershing, that's the new Borg queen. Phil
Yes.
Morris, we know and love. Olivia Dabo, of course. A few other people, some I don't know. And apparently the reason I don't know them is because Amy Benedict played woman.
From Deep Space Nine.
I mean, at least like Steve Hirschman gets security officer, but she's just woman. Like, okay.
You would think that'd be an original series, but nope, that's Deep Space Nine.
So is Tracy Coco going to be there? Because she played a lot of women
Mhm.
and
could even define her more.
aliens.
That's one of my
and-
favorite.
You put a rank.
Was that John Lennon or George Harrison that did Woman?
You guys
No,
read
it's not
creation emails really
It's gotta be.
closely.
I didn't read that.
It's got to be John Lennon.
part.
I'm
I never
hearing his
read it
voice
that
in my head. It's
quickly.
got to be John Lennon.
Because
Anyway,
I'm like, I'm
Opened
going
it.
no matter what. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, same.
I opened it, saw the top pictures, and closed it.
me too.
Now I'm gonna start reading them though. That's fun.
Maybe the next one there'll be man.
Doubt
Man,
it.
he played
No, there might be.
man.
There'll be like man or soldier,
Number two.
or
Number
or
two.
guard. There'll be like guard,
Yeah, they had security officer in that one. At least that has a
Third-
rank, or
They're
job.
Jen Hadar of Siege at AR something.
Oh yeah.
Well, she
I
was a
always forget the
Bajoran
last
mom and
one.
storyteller.
Medallion and One Trek fan confirm it is John Lennon. Thank you. I had to hear the song in my head to hear his voice to be like, nope, that's definitely John. Okay.
Pepper.
So back to Captain Kirk turning 91. You guys
Mhm.
have any thoughts on this? I mean, my thought is every time he has a birthday,
Good
I'm just
for
always
you.
going like, how is he still going? How is
Yeah.
he
Good
so
for you.
powering through at light speed, warp speed even?
Wow. And yeah, and to have his noodle intact
Hair. Oh.
and all that jazz.
I mean, we heard that great story too about Shatner from Ken Mitchell on the LLAPy Award
Oh
night.
my gosh.
So that was lovely. How he bought Ken Mitchell a tree.
Should we play it right now? We
Yes.
could play it.
Sure.
Yes, play it, play it, play it.
All right.
I'm gonna cry.
I'm gonna start playing it, and then everybody in the live chat's gonna be like, "No, don't play." Ah, shit, it's too late. Okay, here it is.
Scott.
Let's see. So this is from 2 nights ago. God, it was only 2 nights ago. The 2022 LLAPy Awards, and
We have to go to something fun after this, though. We have to go like trivia or something after this.
The Queen is 95. She's still kicking it
Oh,
too.
whoops.
Oh my gosh, at first I thought we were talking about Nichelle, the queen of Star
I
Trek.
forgot to
Queen of England.
sound.
Yeah,
to
queen.
this.
No,
Here
the
we
other
go.
queen.
Queen Elizabeth. The longest
Polls
reigning
and the nominees and the winners.
monarchy.
We are actually
Look
doing
how
three
how
honors.
good you guys looked.
There's no voting with this. This is just people that we want to honor and things that we want to talk about, and they're very important to us. The first of which is an honor that goes to the person. Since we will be doing this every year, this will be
Check
going
out
to
that
the
tie.
person that gives us hope for humanity more than
It's a
anybody
great
else.
tie.
It really embodies the word hope. We will be naming this award going forward, the Kenneth Mitchell Hope Award for Kenneth Mitchell, because, well, you know why, because he's the most glorious human or Klingon ever. So here to present the very first Kenneth Mitchell Hope Award, everybody, please welcome a Klingon in her own right. You can just call her Mother. Hey, Mary.
Yay.
Yay!
Hello, I have unmuted myself.
Just in time.
Yay.
Hello.
Hello.
Thank you so much for doing this. This
Thank
is
you so
awesome.
much.
We
I'm
really
just-
appreciate you.
I'm very honored to do this. Chokuvmoch, you honor me
Oh.
to bestow an honor as chancellor and
Love
as human.
Mary talks to
And
the
you look like you recovered from the cruise well. That was a pretty crazy cruise.
It was a crazy cruise. It was a
Yeah.
great crazy cruise, but
All right. Everybody at home is like, you guys, we've heard about the cruise for 2 weeks. Can we go ahead and get to the honor? So, Mary,
Yes.
the floor is yours. Please go ahead and take it away.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you all again for inviting me to be a part of launching the Kenneth Mitchell Hope Award. It's just really a very significant and important award, I think, in regards to the entire Trek community, embodying hope and love within
your
this
Kleenex,
community is so
everybody.
important. So I'm just really grateful that it is an award that will be bestowed on many henceforth. But particularly this being the first one that, of course, I'm getting to give to Ken himself. And Ken, my friend, my Klingon brother,
Yeah, I bring him
my
on.
one of
Here he is, ladies and gentlemen, and species
Oh,
of all
yes.
kinds.
Are we
Mr.
popping him in?
Kenneth Mitchell.
Wonderful. All right.
Yay.
One of my absolute favorite human beings in the whole galaxy. I've written a little something because I adore Ken and I wanted to make sure some of my thoughts and feelings didn't get lost in emotion. So here we go. There are so many different things that I could say about Ken. I teased him in a text earlier that this was going to be a roast, but he knows as well as I do that I don't have the excellent comedic prowess he does that allows him to perfectly roast Jason Isaacs whenever humanly possible. A skill that I admire from afar. But it is true, anyone who knows Ken knows how deviously hilarious he can be. Whether we were together on set and he was making me laugh off my prosthetic by pretending to be a creepy Santa in his Coleshaw costume, among many other silly Klingon pranks. Or if we were at a convention on a panel and he busted out fully embodied Klingon mid-panel, or his Prime Lorca impersonation that we've all come to know and love, getting Jason once again. But Ken has always been able to surprise and delight me with his own unique sense of humor and heart. Anytime he starts to tell a sweet, genuine story, I'm always rightfully on guard for the punchline. But that's the thing about Ken and his humor, is his heart is always right there, present and open. His humor gives us hope by making us reflect on the absurdity and the joy of our existence. And I've been reflecting on hope in knowing that I was presenting the Kenneth Mitchell Hope Award. And I think that we often categorize hope as something that looks far into the future, We hope for a better day, a greater time or experience to escape to or dream of. But in knowing and loving Ken before and throughout his journey with ALS, I have learned that hope is more about being in the moment, being present with those around you and letting them know how much they mean to you as often as you can. I see that hope in Ken, his wife, Susan, his beautiful, intelligent children, Lila and Cal. I see that in the powerful and expansive group of friends and family that surround him on a regular basis. And I am just so humbled to know Ken. He inspires me to be a better person in the world because he believes we have the ability to be the best versions of ourselves, love each other fiercely and fearlessly, even if there are obstacles that make us feel like we're too small to make any significant change. But we can, and we will. And that is hope. That is love. And that is Kenneth Mitchell.
Yes.
So without further ado, may I present the first ever Kenneth Mitchell Hope Award to Kenneth Mitchell.
Yay.
Boy, I wish we had a live audience for that. Just cheer and go nuts. But in the live chat right now, you guys can't see it, but there's a flurry of hearts for the both of you. Kenneth, I don't know. I believe you may have had something prepared, right? I believe it's coming.
Thank you very much. I am grateful and incredibly honored. I love you all. Thank you very much. I am grateful and incredibly honored. I love you all.
Look at all those hearts in the live chat. This was from 2 nights ago.
Let me tell you a story. I love you, Ken.
I love you, Ken, too.
Let me tell you a story, and I will start at the end. It was mid-morning during a weekday in early November of 2020. I had just awoken when Jeff, my caregiver and friend, came into my room and told me that there was a package at the front door. I asked him, "What is the package?" He responded, "It's huge." So I repeated, "What is it?" A slight grin came across his face as he replied, "You'll see." Then, just as he started to turn away, he shouted over his shoulder, "I'll bring it around to the back." I lay in my bed with anticipation, staring out the back door waiting. The moment Jeff entered the backyard with the package, a grand smile filled my face as I knew exactly what it was and whom it was from. It was a giant tree with a burlap root ball, 10 feet high, but it wasn't just any tree. It was a tree from William Shatner. 2 weeks prior to this moment, Mr. Shatner had reached out and asked if I wanted to have a chat with him over Zoom. It's not every day the captain makes such a generous offer, so I happily accepted. I had only had brief interactions with Bill before this, so I was very excited and curious about how our conversation would unfold. I imagined that we would talk about the current movies and TV shows that we each love, his charity, or perhaps delve into some Star Trek lore. However, it turned out to be so much more than expected. In fact, it ended up being one of the most meaningful and powerful conversations I have ever had. He was very curious about my upbringing in Canada, which we both have in common. He wanted to hear about my time at summer camp in Northern Ontario and my studies in landscape architecture at the University of Guelph. We spoke about our shared love of nature and the connection we all share. The conversation led to his curiosity of my recent illness with ALS. I opened up to him, which flowed into a deep discussion about our personal mortality and what happens to us after we die. We were both very open and vulnerable, and it turned out that we share a similar philosophy about our transcendence into nature. I don't want to divulge all of the details, but I will let you know what he wrote on the card accompanying the package. "Dear Kenneth, maybe you want to be a tree too. Thank you very much. Very fondly, Bill." This tree, which now stands tall in my backyard, is more than just a beautiful memory of our conversation and shared love of nature. For me, the tree became a symbol of how gracious and special our Star Trek family is. I realized we are to people with 800 episodes of Star Trek between us. Yet here we are, connected and curious about each other. That is the beauty of Star Trek. Of course, it all begins with the writing, the characters, and their relationships displaying powerful themes of love, hope, discovery, inclusion, courage, curiosity, exploration, honor, sacrifice, service, diplomacy, trust, and science. However, I believe the essence of Star Trek goes beyond the material and transcends into our lives. This is the greatest gift that Star Trek gives us, how we connect with one another outside of the show. I am incredibly grateful for the friendships from my colleagues and the fans. I could tell you a magical story about each and every one of my castmates and alumni, or relate dozens of special interactions I've shared with the fans. We are a family, and I take great comfort in this unique phenomenon. In dealing with my mortality, I feel comforted knowing that the characters I brought to life will live on. I'm blessed to have learned from them, the good and bad, and I'm proud of what they might offer others for years to come. However, the most precious benefit of being a part of Star Trek is the experience making it and all the people I have met along the way. The fabric of the Star Trek family is the true gift. Aside from sharing in characters, stories, and adventure, the common thread is each other. The special connection we have. This gives me the ultimate solace along my journey, the friendships and connections forged, knowing these memories will live on along with the characters. Thank you for this gift. And who knows, maybe some of you will one day breathe the oxygen from my leaves or lean on my trunk, which stands tall on the grounds of the new Starfleet Academy. Beside the ginkgo, there will be a plaque that reads my favorite quote from Gene Roddenberry. In a very real sense, we are all aliens on a strange planet. We spend most of our lives reaching out and trying to communicate. If during our whole lifetime we could reach out and communicate with just the people, we are indeed very fortunate.
Wow. Thank you so much for that, Kenneth. I'm going to bring everybody on right now because I know it's not easy being all by yourself, just two people with a camera in your face, but you're an amazing human, Kenneth, and we really, really, really appreciate you taking the time to share your story with us and join us today. Sorry, we're all taking a moment to compose ourselves.
That was beautiful. That was
Yeah.
absolutely
So beautiful.
I was very
Love you,
moving.
Ken. We love you, man.
Thank you.
Thank you for being an inspiration to all of us.
Yeah, we love you, Kenneth.
It's not fair.
Sorry, I had myself muted. That is not easy to watch even a second time. Man, Kenneth Mitchell is just an angel. He's a god among men and women and aliens and everything. He's just the tip of the spear. And we honor him every day. And I loved watching that a second time, honestly, with a little less pressure and more time to just relax and soak up his words. And as you mentioned, Muhammad, what a great way to honor Captain Kirk, William Shatner, on his 91st birthday, listening to what Kenneth Mitchell has to say about the time that they met.
Yeah.
A beautiful story, right?
He had a positive impact on a wonderful man's life, and that's what we all hope for before we die, right?
Right. I loved when he said that he had a great, I don't remember the word he said, but a great, powerful story to tell for every single person that he met in his life. And
that was beautiful.
Yeah. Okay. One thing was that I wasn't able to watch the live chat while that was on, but now I'm looking at it and it's a flurry of hearts and love again, which we would expect.
I love the live chat, folks. I mean, everybody in the live chat's always just so incredibly kind and
Aren't
wonderful.
they the best?
So
They really are the
wonderful.
best. I mean, thank you guys
We're
for
so
being
spoiled.
So good.
We are
Yeah.
spoiled.
Oh,
there. I apologize. We're not typing to you guys more as it's going, but like we're seeing you, and like You guys are all amazing.
You know, like one of the things that's most resounding when we have guest groups at Virtual TrekCon is right afterwards, I'll get messages saying, wow, the live chat experience when we're on a virtual TrekCon thing is just amazing. And then in the future, I'll get messages from, for example, like Larry for Life Support Live or Allison from Daily Star Trek News, like thanking us again, like months later, because when you guys then become fans of their shows and show up in their live chats, it's just such a like wonderful community, and no one's live chat paw is stronger than chat packs.
Yes.
Sure.
Our paw is mighty.
Yeah, it brings
Thanks
so
to
much
you guys.
life and energy and love. I love it so much. And also I agree, like I have a lot in common with the live chat because a lot of people just said, this is our third or fourth time watching this, not even just second. I'm like, yeah, that's my fourth time. Just had to go back and watch it a few more.
Also, want to point out, we do have to mention, we always have to issue corrections right away, otherwise YouTube might take this down. But the chat pack's paw is mighty, but so is Spot's. Okay. So this is
that's true.
It's important to, mention that while it comes up. Spot's paw is mighty.
Just what a storyteller though. Just I couldn't even get over it.
Yeah.
Like what that's also, I mean, I'm like, he's like the best storyteller since LeVar Burton.
God, I'm trying to imagine how long he spent composing that. Whew.
I know.
I thought the same.
Wow.
So
Really
anybody that missed it at home, go check out the 2022 LLAPy Awards. There were a lot of great, beautiful moments, obviously highlighted by that one by the illustrious Kenneth Mitchell. And to echo what we were saying a moment ago, the chat pack, the people on the live chat are really what do we do? We talk about Star Trek. That's not the main course. The main course is the people in the live chat and the people talking to each other and making friends and supporting each other.
Wouldn't be a party without the people.
Fueling the energy.
Right. I mean, it's like this crazy social experiment of like people online being nice to each other. Who knows? It might work. Give it a shot, right? People being nice to each other online. Let's see what happens. It's an experiment. Spot
and also,
73.
I don't think that like some of the celebrities who then showed up in the live chat, like Thomas Supernant and Ethan Hawke, Mark O'Connell, Megan Elise, I think, if it weren't for how nice and loving the live chat is, we wouldn't get to have that experience too, where you can then ask them. Like, I had to miss the replay of the makeup demo last night because I was at a funeral, but Thomas Supernant was in there, like talking about the Romulan makeup. I went back and read the live chat too. It's just like, what a treat and a thrill. That's because the live chat's so awesome.
Yes. So everybody in the live chat, you are right. It is time for the Star Trek Day trivia question of the day.
Every day is Star Trek Day.
Yeah, we're actually more than halfway to the next one already. And I thought it was cool that there were 52 decks in this card, or 52 cards in this deck. I'll get some sleep one of these days. You watch. It'll happen. And so it'll take us through the whole year. All right, here it comes. The question is, what character dies in the series finale of Star Trek Enterprise?
None is the correct answer. None.
Yes,
it is none.
The proper series finale. Proper series finale. Because
it's the evil Colonel Green guy or whatever from that one.
There's only one real last episode. The other one was a fake.
Is it?
I like that episode.
Is it A, Hoshi Sato, B, T'Pol?
Just kidding. Just kidding. I was just kidding.
That was just really
dare you.
I like Hoshi. It
was just really funny. You said it so fast. Like, dang.
I was just trying to throw you guys off.
Is it C, Dr. Phlox? Sorry, I added C,
so
Phlox, it says. D, Trip Tucker. All right. Without giving the answer, let me check. Oh, what a surprise.
Who was the B answer? I didn't actually hear the B answer because I was interrupting.
To Paul.
To Paul. Okay, thank you.
All right. So before we go, let's talk about our schedule that's upcoming. Very quickly, on Thursday at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, the Seventh Rule is reviewing the 4th episode of Star Trek Picard Season 2, which is going to be very fun and exciting. And
Watcher, is that right? I think it's called The Watcher.
Something about Watchers.
Excited.
And then
Who watches?
Sunday morning, 9 a.m., 12 p.m. Eastern Time. That's 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern Time. We will have our review, the 7th Rule, that is, of Deep Space Nine, Season 6, Episode 21 already, The Reckoning. So that'll be a
Can I
fun
add something
one.
to that?
Yeah.
Good episode.
Right after that 7th Rule Sunday thing at noon, at 12:30, we're going to relaunch BioTrekkie with the Admiral. Like, so it's right up. So if you watch the 7th Rule one, it ends. Just hop right on over at 12:30 Eastern Time. Sorry, I should clarify that. 12:30 Eastern Time to BioTrekkie with the Admiral. So we'll be discussing Season 4, Episodes 1 and 2 of Star Trek Discovery.
This
Perfectly
is
timed to
such-
be the after show.
Such smart marketing. This guy's like, I know the prime time right here. I know, I know my people. You're already there. You're already watching.
Yeah.
Just hang out a little longer.
Exactly. Instead of a half-hour show, everybody's
Perfect.
like, "Oh, it's always so short." Well, now you got another half hour.
Perfect. Love it. Brilliant.
I'm gonna have to rewatch Disco 1 and 2 episodes so that I'm ready.
Also, on this upcoming Friday, I think we'll have our 2nd edition of the Virtual TrekCon's newest baby, which is Star Trek and Chill. Star Trek and Chill. That's going to be 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. That's Friday night, 8 Eastern. Check that out. It's going to be Star Trek and Chill, right? Nothing wrong with that. All right. It's going to be lots of fun, and it's going to be live. All right.
So
Dr. Anne Marie. Well, watch the first already happened on
Okay,
Monday.
there's another one Wednesday.
But thank you
Gotcha.
for, you know what?
Okay.
They can go check it out because it was a really good one.
It was
And
so
so go check out, watch the first Falling Towers, watch the first podcast. It already premiered, and it is For All Mankind with Dr. Muhammad Noor and Dr. Tanya Harrison.
Oh,
It's
Uh,
really,
some
really, really,
great-
really
She's
good.
a great guest. Oh my god.
bits in there.
I just
We loved
slept for
it. So go
13
check that
hours
out.
Knowledge.
and I put it on a loop. And so the whole time I was sleeping, it was looping. And when I would like wake up to get water, or like
Creepy.
for a second, I just heard like, oh my God, it was just such a good review. So
And
Thank you,
I loved
Emery.
it.
next week, Falling Tower will be reviewing, might as well give it up right now, Stargate Atlantis with special guests, Roz Stanley, the funniest of all
yay.
funnies, and Kat Guerin.
Nice.
So stay tuned for that. That's going to be next week. Got a lot of good stuff. Thursday at 6, Friday at 5 Pacific, 6 and 9, 5 and 8. Sunday at 9 a.m. and 9:30. That's noon and noon 30. Let's have some fun. All right, Anne-Marie Siegel, where can people find you online?
Oh, on Twitter at AnnMarieSiegel1.
Easy.
Yeah.
What about you, Melissa Longo?
At Walking Art Made by Melissa, and the the trifecta of social media, at Melissa Longo.
Easy.
The YouTube at Melissa Longo. The 7th Rule, and yeah.
So it's great content.
That
Speaking of
always
great
has
content, what about you, Grand Moff Noor?
Oh, they were skipping me when you said that. No, I'm just kidding.
I thought about it.
Yeah, there you go. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at Moff Noor, M like Michael, A like F like Frank, and then Noor, N like November, OOR, or YouTube is BioTrekkie or BioTrekkie Explains. One thing I forgot to mention too about the Sunday show, it's going to be a YouTube premiere, just like the 7th Rule does, but both Jane and I will be in the chat too.
Oh, fun.
Awesome.
Jane Brooke will be there if you want to say hi and say what
Oh,
a great
that's cool.
what a great admiral she was and stuff.
She was.
I do want to point out that Chuck A says, "Thank you, Virtual TrekCon, the Maine lobster."
The Maine lobster.
Maine lobster.
Instead of
It's
the
good-
main
it's a good
viewer.
food.
It's fun.
Yeah.
Oh, and also
I'm vegetarian.
Sorry,
Me too.
what channel is Star Trek and Chill on? There's a question
Right
in the
here,
live chat.
Virtual TrekCon, right here. Keep it here, everybody, except for when you're going to the other channels.
And turn the notifications on.
Yeah, make sure you subscribe, make sure you like, comment below, come back, hang out. The answer is, oh, and you can find Ryan T. Husk on Twitter. Just, do a search for Ryan T. Husk, but especially on YouTube, Falling Tower, The Seventh Rule, Virtual TrekCon. Here it comes. The answer is, you guessed it, Trip
Oh,
Tucker.
Sorry.
Trip
Yeah,
Tucker.
no, yeah, that last episode did a disservice to the entire series, in my opinion.
In your opinion, and many others.
Yeah.
All right.
It tried to make TNG more important, and that's not fair.
I love
All right.
it.
So everybody stay tuned for next week. Melissa's
Sorry.
Enterprise rant. It's coming.
Sorry.
You're going to want to
No.
get your popcorn
Most
ready.
people agree. Yeah.
It's not the first time it's been said. Let's just put it that way.
Get your popcorn
think
reps
it-
from Scott Baker.
I think it got a pretty low IMDb score too because of that.
Mm,
Pretty darn low.
yeah.
All right, everybody. We will see you next time. And when you want to talk about birthdays and 91-year-olds and the most beautiful speeches of all time by Mr. Kenneth Mitchell,
Yeah.
put it on the main viewer.